Kawamura has everything going for him. A great job. His fiancée is the daughter of the president of the company he works for, and he's getting married that next day. However, all of that changed in an instant when he drunkenly falls into a manhole. The problem is, aside from being physically unable to climb out, is that he can't get hold of his friends. That's where he starts to realize that all this may not have been an accident after all. Kawamura's work buddies surprise him at an after-work party at some bar to celebrate his marriage the next day. After a rowdy night out, Kase, his friend, gave him a parting gift, and Kawamura waved goodbye to everyone and went on his way. He was a bit dazed and was drunkenly walking on the street when he suddenly falls. He wakes up after some time and looks around. The place is dark, damp, and disgusting. Above him is the hole he fell into. He sits up and recoils in pain. He apparently injured his thigh on his way down. He tied it using his tie and surveyed the ladder. Kawamura tried limping his way up the ladder but can't reach the broken section above it. He came up with the bright idea to use his belt to latch onto it to no avail. He then tried to jump for it, but it was not enough and he falls back down. He tries to call out for help, but there was no response. It's now around 1:05 a.m. He begins to take inventory of what he has, and Kase's gift turned out to be very useful. He calls his fiancée, but it went to voicemail. He left a message telling her what happened and to not be concerned. He then tries all his work buddies, but one by one they all ended up unanswered. He throws his phone out of frustration. But then he received a call back from Mai, his ex. Kawamura explains his situation, but Mai is hesitant to help out since she's far from Shibuya where he had the party. She tells him to call the police instead, but Kawamura doesn't want to get in trouble since he has a special day tomorrow. Mai figured out that he's getting married tomorrow. She found out from a common friend. She then offered to drive to his location. Just then, it starts to rain. Mai calls back and tells him that she arrived at the place but can't see any open holes or a construction site. Kawamura got pissed and insisted she tries harder. He double-checks his phone and the GPS confirms that he is indeed near Shibuya. Mai suggested he call the police since he's injured. He has no choice now but to call the authorities. He again explained his situation. He was out drinking with friends. He went home but fell into a hole. Police made Kawamura describe his surroundings, and they concluded that he fell inside a manhole. The cover may not be on. He was then abruptly passed on to another department. A different officer came on the line and started asking the same questions, which irritated Kawamura. But the officer promised to send a dispatch to Kawamura's location, and he calmed down a bit. An hour has already passed. Meanwhile, a broken pipe started emitting gas. Mai called again to tell him that she can't find any open manholes. Kawamura is starting to have doubts on whether Mai is even there or wanted to help him. She got pissed at him for the accusation and tells him that they broke up 5 years ago, and she's over it. Kawamura again pleaded for her help, telling her that it's dark and cold and raining here. Mai then tells him that it's not raining in Shibuya right now. Mai felt tricked and asked Kawamura whether he's even in Shibuya. She tells him not to call her anymore and hangs up. The downpour continues on. Kawamura then had an idea. He records a video and then tosses his phone out the hole so it can show him the outside. But after a few attempts, it got stuck on the ladder. This is when he heard the hissing sound of gas from the pipe, so he immediately plugged it shut. He used a shoe to dislodge his phone and got it after a few tries. Kawamura reviews the footage, but doesn't recognize the surrounding area. The dispatch officer calls him, but he immediately demanded he hurry up and save him. The officer asks him to calm down while he confirms his identity. Kawamura irritably gives him his address, date of birth, and job position. The officer then tells him that his group patrolled his stated location and didn't find any manholes without covers. Kawamura still insisted that he's somewhere in Shibuya, but by then the officer is suspecting his state of mind. The officer asked how much he had to drink, which didn't go well with him. Pissed off, he throws his phone and attempted to climb the ladder again. This time he was able to catch the upper rung, but it broke and he falls down again. Broken and confused, Kawamura still has some fight left in him. He took his phone and created an account at an app like Twitter. But instead of his photo and name, he impersonated a Japanese idol and named her Manhole Girl. After a few tweaks, he sent out his first message. And then, just as he thought it's not going to get any worse, foam started coming out. A quick Google search shows that it could be made up of dead animals. Mai called again, asking how Kawamura's leg injury is. He took a picture and Mai, being a nurse, tells him that he needs to close up the wound or it'll get infected. Digging through his stuff, he found a stapler. He asks Mai if he can use it and she agreed simply because they had no choice. While preparing his wound, he tells Mai about his plan to use Manhole Girl in Twitter since everyone is more inclined to help if it's a girl. After confirming how to proceed, he begins stapling his wound. After bandaging his leg and recovering somehow, Mai tells him that Manhole Girl is going viral. There are some useful tips among the clutter of messages. Unfortunately, he can't see the stars because of the rain. But the rain itself is a clue, and his followers deduce that he's somewhere far north, definitely not Shibuya. Someone then asks for landmarks, and he found a no entry sign from his earlier video. The people then had a discussion in Manhole Girl's page, and it quickly escalated into something darker. Kawamura is then feeling the suspicion that they may be right. He then cooks up a story making himself as Manhole Girl's brother. Kawamura retells his story in the third person with the suspicion that a jealous ex-lover is responsible for his kidnapping. The people united to help find the suspect while Kawamura is getting a kick out of it. He then asked Mai to help him get surveillance footage from the bar. There was a chance that his drink was spiked with something. Also, the perpetrator will know Kawamura's whereabouts. The rain officially turned into a storm, and the foam disgustingly gushes forth. Kawamura longingly watches a pre-wedding video taken of them and his fiancée. There's even a baby on the way. Meanwhile, Manhole Girl's page is getting more viral. Everyone researched about Kawamura and has some unfavorable discoveries to share. But a possible lead turned up which made Kawamura recall something. As he reads on the bustling comments section, more and more suspects are being named. Kawamura's dark thoughts spin up possible motives from people close to him. But eventually, all roads led to Kase, his best friend, with jealousy being the main motivator. Everyone in the comments sections are in unison. He then calls back Mai to tell her he strongly suspects Kase as the one behind all this. Kawamura asks her if she managed to get the surveillance footage from the bar, but she couldn't get it. This irritated him, so he hung up and began to review videos from his phone instead. There were congratulatory messages from everyone, even from his boss and future father-in-law. But Kase declined to say anything when it was his turn, and he just sat back looking glum when Kawamura came in for the surprise. But then he noticed something. While everyone was in a happy chaos, someone passed him a drink from out of nowhere. Upon closer inspection, this person was wearing a red hood and is seen fleeing the bar. He then started imagining who this person might be. Kawamura then uploaded the image on Manhole Girl's page. Then he received a call from Kase. Apparently he's getting harassed online due to the rumors spreading. Kase tells Kawamura to stop lying since he figured out he's Manhole Girl. But Kawamura instead accuses Kase as the one lying and being the culprit. But Kase strongly denies all this. Kawamura still insisted that Kase just admit to everything and tell him where exactly he is. Kase, of course, has no idea what he's talking about, but he wanted to help him. Kawamura got mad and threatened him that he can expose him, and accuses him of being jealous. Kase admits being a bit jealous of him, but he won't go as far as to do anything about it. Kawamura then accuses him of another motive, that of him being after his fiancée, Sayuri. But Kase has already hung up, much to Kawamura's fury. The foam continues to flood the hole. Then he hears a train sound and begins to record it and sends it out to his community. After browsing to some useless info, he scrolls down to find that someone has already hunted Kase and beat him up. Kawamura tells everyone to focus on figuring out where he is. Then another useful hint came forth regarding the manhole cover pattern. Good thing Kawamura has a video that shows it. A lot of his followers recognize this as being in Aoyama, near an abandoned factory. He pleads with everyone to come rescue him, but almost everyone declined due to the distance, but there was one who lives close by. Kawamura's joy quickly turned into horror as the foam started to rise faster. He tries to climb, but his leg got caught in something. But he emerged at the last second. He checks the comment feed and his savior, Triple L, is being too playful, much to Kawamura's irritation. L has now arrived and has begun giving his audience a step-by-step. He's appearing to be closing in and Kawamura has begun crying out, but 4L is still playing around. When he finally reached the manhole, it's still not the right one. L tells his audience the bad news while Kawamura's following has started to decline. With the water and foam quickly rising up, Kawamura has a desperate idea. He released the gas and lit it up to cause an explosion to displace all the water. Surprisingly, he came out of it completely fine. Mai calls him again to ask him how he's doing. Mai asked Kawamura if he only broke up with her 5 years ago just to date the president's daughter around the same time, but he denies this but apologized for suddenly breaking up with her 5 years ago. She says it's all good but asks him what he plans to do now. Kawamura is optimistic since today is a brand new day, but he suddenly noticed something that wasn't there before. Kawamura was shocked but didn't seem at all surprised. But in a moment of panic he lost himself for a second while flashbacks came flooding in. He solemnly tells Mai that he knows exactly where he is and tells her to go find him. He strongly opposed to Mai calling the police and instead urged her to come quickly. A flashback shows a younger Kawamura working in a recycling plant. It's his last day at work since he found work at a large real estate company, and he thanks everyone for taking care of him. Back at home, he received a knock at the door. He answered it and saw it was Yoshida and was attacked and killed using a crowbar. Yoshida dragged Kawamura in the rain and took his wallet and phone. He then dumped the body in the manhole. At a plastic surgeon's clinic, he tells the doctor that he wanted to look like Kawamura. He was so engrossed living somebody else's life that he forgot about his old self. Yoshida calls a different woman named Natsumi. He apologized for calling suddenly, saying that it has been around 10 years since they last spoke. He tells her he's Kawamura, but that she probably already knew that he's an imposter. Natsumi was Kawamura's girlfriend at the time, while Mai was Yoshida's after he turned into Kawamura. Natsumi, however, remained quiet. Yoshida then riles up his following by telling a fake story about Natsumi, that they broke up 10 years ago because their parents didn't approve of their marriage, but she continued to stalk him. He created another account to use it to expose Natsumi's picture and other details. Manhole Girls following started doing their research on Natsumi, while Yoshida encourages everyone to get rid of her. But then, a few followers managed to figure out Yoshida's exact location, and they also saw the connection between Natsumi and Kawamura. He realized the predicament that he's in, so fake Kawamura pleaded with everyone that Manhole Girl has already been saved and to no longer come to her rescue. Just then, the police called to let him know that they figured out that fake Kawamura is indeed Manhole Girl via an anonymous call. They said that they're on their way with an ambulance, and they have questions about what happened to Kase. Yoshida is freaking out, and everything is going wrong. He desperately tries to cover up the corpse, but he then received another call from Mai. She has just arrived at his location. Mai drops a rope and Yoshida takes it and begins climbing up. He used the ladder to go up the rest of the way, and was assisted out of the hole. Yoshida got out and was surprised to see Natsumi instead of Mai. Apparently Natsumi changed Mai's number to hers, so that Yoshida has been speaking to her all along. She draws surgical lines on his face and prepares something while Yoshida claims that he didn't kill Kawamura, he only stole his face. But she played a recording of Yoshida telling Mai his exact location, which is a strong evidence to the contrary. An enraged Natsumi then begins carving away Yoshida's face. He managed to break free from her, but this didn't deter Natsumi. Yoshida begged her to spare him since he'll be a father soon and that all his life no one really cared for him. He's invisible to everyone, that's why he had to be someone else, and he now remorseful of what happened to Kawamura. He promised to give back Kawamura's face and turn himself to police. He just needed some more time so he can hold his baby. Natsumi actually let Yoshida go and start walking away, but Yoshida brutally starts strangling her. Just as he was about to put Natsumi in the hole, he was shot with an arrow and falls in instead. It was one of Manhole Girl's followers who saved Natsumi. Yoshida lies broken in the hole while the rope is pulled up. The kid revealed himself to actually be the Prince of Abyss, the same one who beat up Kase. Yoshida tells him that he got it wrong, that he's actually the Manhole Girl, but he can't give a straight answer when asked why he's there. The prince then closed the manhole, leaving Yoshida in the dark. Yoshida looked at his reflection and can't recognize the man staring at him anymore. He dropped the lighter and the darkness swallows him up and his desperate screams.